Some of these comments are funny and some are just interesting things to look at. So this says, born alive laws are even more wild in a country with no universal health care. This is in reference to a discussion that we were having regarding when you put into place a born alive law, and it's made to look as if you are saying like, oh, if there's a botched abortion, you're required to provide care if it's a baby that's past viability, but that is not something that happens. And what these end up doing is leading to situations where people are having peri-viable or kind of at that gray zone of being able to save them. And they don't have the option to not initiate heroic efforts to, go through this process of very painful, sometimes life-limiting and life-altering things that don't always lead to a high quality of life, and in actually more cases than not don't lead to a high quality of life. And this person is saying like, that's even more crazy, requiring someone to do that when they also might have to go bankrupt to pay for that care. And I agree, it's wild. It seems like those laws would ban palliative care for neonates. Is that the case? Yeah, I mean, it is really difficult, and it depends on the wording as far as if you have like a baby that's born with anencephaly and it's born alive. Those babies can live for a long time, particularly if they're put on a life support machine, because they have brainstem function. They just don't have a brain. Anencephaly is where it's a extreme neural tube defect where the brain doesn't form. But they have a full brainstem, so brainstem function. So they can breathe, and if they're put on a breathing machine, they will continue to stay alive without any brain function. So it makes it complex for those things as well. Most of them are worded in a way that's discussed in the bill, but not all of them. Recently had a close friend point out my symptoms may match PMDD. I've been looking for medically backed sources to learn and realized there's no PMDD videos that we could find. I think I have a video on PM. Hang on. What am I thinking of? I don't have a PMDD specific video. You're right, I should make one of those. But I do feel like I have a video where I talk about it. I can't remember which one it was. But maybe I don't. I could be wrong. All right. Them calling themselves hormone specialists has the same energy as my aunt saying that she basically has a degree in nutrition after taking classes for her job as a health coach for an MLM. This is accurate. It is probably from the video where I talk about hormone specialists and going down a rabbit hole of figuring out how they get their licenses. It's wild. That is very funny. The 1700s, we need to balance your humors. Modern times, we need to balance your hormones. Some things never change. That is accurate. I would agree. Finding out Mom Dr. Jones has a first name feels like finding out your own parents aren't mom and dad. It's okay. You can just call me MDJ. I think it's really funny because people who follow the channel closely and come to the streams and stuff, most of you know my name, but will comment things like this pretty frequently. But people who don't and want to like piss me off or like make me angry, they'll comment and say my name and then like use it condescendingly. And it's just always so weird. I'm like, you're not hurting my feelings by using my name. Like, it's fine. It's the internet. I really hate sleeping. Let's do this again. She cracks me up, but sure does get down to the bottom line. I think that's in reference to me talking about having another baby and saying like, we decided to have another one, and that's because we hate sleeping. These are not as... Next time, Karen, we should put them like with a little context of what video they came from and stuff, because they're all kind of feels a little bit random. I would have to say it's pretty hypocritical of society to demonize women for having many children while also demonizing childless women. It's like you can't win with these people. Absolutely. I 100% agree, especially because I've been very open about the fact that I would happily have a baby number 5, and we have no immediate plans to do that, but I I would be happy if we did. And people act like that is insane. I mean, admittedly, probably is, but also like, I mean, I guess maybe I just shouldn't say that that's even a possibility, but it's none of their business. And then like to make mean comments about it is so weird. And then on the flip side of that, like when people don't want to have any children at all, like, I mean, one, I can understand why someone would not want to, given the process of pregnancy, birth, and then raising a child for 18 plus years is quite the commitment. But also, like, it's none of your business. Why do you care? It affects you none. It's so weird. Oh, thank you for commenting that the file names have titles that seem to indicate where they came from. I did not even realize that. I am an idiot. Sorry. I honestly wasn't sure whether or not the fallopian tubes were attached to the ovaries or not, but it's interesting to know that they are in fact not attached to the ovaries. They are in fact not attached to the ovaries. I never realized that people didn't know this, and I guess maybe like makes sense, because I think why I didn't realize that people think that they're attached is because I probably had never in my life thought about it until I saw one in real life and then didn't know that they weren't attached. I told my sister last week they're not attached and she found it very upsetting. Why did she find it upsetting? Why is it disturbing? I don't think it's disturbing. It's so funny. It's like, it's just how it is. So does the released egg stick on the outer surface of the ovary and the fallopian tube sweeps it up? I kind of imagine the egg floating up magically. It kind of does float up magically. I mean, it's actually like cytokinetic substances, so they attract the oocyte into the tube. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of magically. All right. Are you sure he's not crying because he's about to eat placenta and not because he's just become a dad? This is from the placenta talk video, which, by the way, you all hated and nobody watched it because you all opened it, saw the first part of the first video, and reasonably were like, nope, I am leaving because it was disgusting. And yeah, I would cry too if I was going to eat placenta. Eating fruit on the bottom cherry yogurt was not a good idea while watching the placenta talk. Oof, yeah, probably not. If your body goes through the process of expelling something, I have no desire to put it back in my mouth. Back in my body. That is very funny. Libido discussion. Yeah, we can talk about that sometime. Well, lots of animals eat their placentas. It must be a good reason. Do these people not realize lots of animals also eat their own offspring? True. I have a very, this is no relevance and is actually sad, but I have a story about that. I once, when I was at the park as a child, I think I was probably like 11, maybe a little bit younger. I was at the park and there was like an aviary, like where there were birds and ducks and stuff in a really big cage that had like a pond and like a little river flowing through it and all that. And there were these little baby ducklings, and the dad, I'm assuming, or another male duck, murdered one of the baby ducks. And I was like standing screaming on the edge of the fence, like panicking because we couldn't get in and there was no way to save the duck. And it was horrifying, and I'm still traumatized by it. I love the story about Sally Ride. Did they understand women's biology? No, but they did accept their fellow colleague and try their best to meet her needs. A failure of the education system, but not of kindness. This is talking about when they were preparing for Sally Ride to go to space, and they sent her off, I think, with like 1,000 tampons, and she was going to be gone for a max of like 1 menstrual cycle. But to be fair, I mean, you wouldn't want to run out there because you can't just like run to the grocery store and get some more. My husband suggested hanging a tennis ball at the end of the exhibit. I've obviously already seen this and liked it and responded, and I forgot, and it's still so freaking funny. It's so funny. Oh my god, I need to make it into a TikTok because I can't. That is So funny. Can you imagine if you went to the gynecologist and then they had you lay down and then they were like, okay, scoot down a little more, okay, see the tennis ball? Scoot down until you're touching the tennis ball. Oh, sorry. It's not up there. I just enjoy it by myself while all of you are like, what are you even talking about? All right. We'll do the rest of... Sorry, there's a plane going by and I'm certain that you can hear it, but... Where was the next one? There we go. I don't know that there's ever been a more realistic mom response than that, or I'll be in a straitjacket somewhere. I don't remember what this is in reference to. I don't know, and the title of the of the picture didn't give me a hint, just says straitjacket, and I remember reading this and thinking it was funny, but now I can't even remember what it was. Oh yeah, the septuplets, yes. But what was the context of what they were responding to? I don't remember what they said, like, she said that, but I can't remember. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Bill Clinton called the septuplet mom and said that she'd be a great manager, and she said, yeah, that, or I'll be in a straitjacket somewhere. Yeah, okay, that's